Good morning. Good morning. Listen, I am super excited to be back on YouTube. It's a lot of stuff that we have to discuss. Listen, I want to share this because I shared this with this young brother on yesterday, and I just want to just bring him up as a topic of conversation. Um, Let me see if I can find his picture right there. Little Nas X. So we're going to be talking about Little Nas X in this video, and also we're going to be talking about T.S. Madison demands Storm Monroe tell her story, right? So everybody needs to know Little Nas X is an openly, gay rapper, and he have some mental issues. You all know he was outside. He was running around in his underwear and he was fighting police officers. So he's dealing with multiple felonies that he's facing. So on yesterday, when I was talking about it, his legal team is trying to have a diversion program for him. So I took it upon myself. I went on my Instagram today and I took it upon myself to give him a message, a public message I posted on my Instagram, and I just want to read it what I wrote for him. Give me 1 second, and this is what I wrote to him. I said, "Little Nas X, I love you, bro. I have my own legal problems in the past. My advice to you is to take care of your mental health. If your doc puts you on meds, stay on your medication. I will continue to keep you in prayer." And so I posted that on yesterday, and people were saying great advice, and they were saying why you use the song choice. It's because I don't want to see Little Nas X in back up in jail. I want to just share my story a little bit, and I keep continuing to share the story so it can just touch someone. The first time when I had a mental health breakdown was years ago in my 20s. It was in Chicago, and then during that time, my grandmother was alive, my mother was there, my uncle was there, and I was just lashing out. I didn't sleep in days. I noticed that now that I was having a manic breakdown, but during that time, I didn't know what it was. I just was just cussing everybody out, and I couldn't sleep. And so during that time, the family got involved, the police got involved, and they said, "Well, just let's send him to Saint Bernard Hospital." So they sent me to Saint Bernard Hospital, and they released me, and they said it was just domestic problems. So went back home, and then long story short, they kicked me out of my grandmother's house, and I had to move with my friend in Dallas. And mind you, I know it then that it was bipolar, that I was suffering from the bipolar disorder. So when I experienced that, I went to Texas and I picked up a job, and then I had a breakdown at a public library. I destroyed the property at the public library. I was saying all this to different type of stuff, at the public library. And then once I left the public library, before I left, I threw some at the window, broke the window, took out all my clothes, and I was literally running in my apartment complex at the time with no clothes on. So when I seen Little Nas X situation, I thank God out of all those situations, this is what prayer matters. I did not assault a police officer. I did not harm a police officer. None of that. And it was multiple police officers. That police officer, he tased me because I was running towards him. And I'm just to run back to my other apartment that I had. And the police was like, freeze. And he tased me. And I said, oh. And then I hit on the ground, chin first. My chin was bleeding. My stomach was bleeding. So it was really, really bad. But I didn't put my hands on the police officer, thank God. Um, so when I looked at Little Nas X situation, it was sad when I saw him just in his underwears. Go ahead, babe. And he was just in his underwears, in his boots. And, people were laughing because we don't talk enough in this country about mental health. We don't discuss that enough in this country. What we do, if someone having a breakdown or a crash out, we laugh at it. We do, you know what I'm saying? Not everybody, but we don't talk about it enough in the black community. Now, another thing is people were saying, I don't know how true this is, but they were saying that he was also on drugs. And that's another thing. You have people that battle with mental health and then they also do drugs, and that don't mix. So I just thank God, for speaking of my own life, that I never got involved with drugs. Like at best, the only thing I would do probably from time to time was like weed, but it was no hard, like serious hard drugs outside of weed. So, but you have some people that deal with mental health and they own the cocoa, or they own or on the H, or they own the crystal. So I never dealt with that. But seeing him go through it, I felt it in my heart. I said, let me reach out to Little Nas X and have this conversation with him publicly. And I see that his lawyer is trying to have the Diverge program. I personally believe that they're going to give him probation and that he's going to have stipulation. He may be on probation probably for 4 years. And they probably will have him like he have to pay restitution. He got to go to anger management. He got to do mental health and have this stuff in there. But they postponed the case into April. And thank God that, he was, he's out on bail, so he don't have to be stuck in a county jail. But let this be a lesson learned. Another key piece that you have to be careful, and people have shared this, and I'm going to share with you guys, that when you up there uplifting the devil, dancing on the devil, you remember that he was doing something so toxic, dancing on the devil and having all that stuff. That's demonic. That's very demonic. Making fun of Christians. And what happened was, I believe, an evil spirit and got in him, and it disrupted his mental. You have to be very, very cautious on the things that you do, because you can concoct or conjure up an evil spirit, and an evil spirit had that man just like he lost it. And I'm like, you have to be very, very careful, because when you are dealing with a situation with your mental health, you don't want to concoct up playing with the devil, because if you play with him, I remember they said, if you let the devil drive, if you let the devil ride, he gonna want to drive, meaning he will take over your entire life. So you have to be very cautious of that. But when Little Nas X did that, some people were saying, oh, he's doing that to sell records. That's not gonna make you sell records. He was dealing with a crisis. And I hope that in this situation that he stayed on the meds. And I had to share from my life, stay on the meds. Like last night, I couldn't sleep. I was like, I'm definitely taking my meds. Took my meds. I went to sleep like a newborn baby, because again, if I don't take the meds, I don't sleep. And when I don't sleep, I be up for days, being on the internet, being live for hours upon hours. That's not healthy. So it is a good thing that it is a good thing that I said, hey, let me go ahead on and take my medication, because you definitely don't want to be dealing with a situation where you're not on your meds, and then you start doing these weird behaviors. And that's why it's so important for my village. They always say, what, are you okay? Everything is fine. I got into counseling and therapy. Now, the first time when I had got on probation, they did have me go into a program for mental health. And I went to a program. It was about, they had me speaking to someone, and I was just breaking down in tears. I was really going through it. It was amazing. It was called Bail Counseling Services out in Texas. And it was run by a Black guy, and I really loved that organization. We was doing a workbook. It was like, I would never forget it. It just like changed my life. But you have to stay on your meds. And even when the meds, like, I'd be on the stuff like, oh my gosh, I'm fine. Like, I feel good. I feel fine, because the medication is working. You know what I'm saying? Then you don't have to be worried about saying, oh, let me go ahead and not deal with that. That means the medication is working. I see y'all in the chat. Good morning to y'all in here. The medication is working. And it's okay. It don't make you feel weak. It don't make you feel less than. It is okay to be on medicine. And we have to teach this to people, because we have so many people out here that battle with a mental illness, and they don't take their meds. It's just out here. I will never forget it. When I was unhoused in Vegas, I was literally out there. It's like a street, California call it Skid Row. I don't know what they call it in Las Vegas, but let's call it the Las Vegas Skid Row. And they have all of these homeless shelters, all of these homeless people. And a lot of people that was homeless, they dealt with some people was dealing with the drugs, and there was some people that a lot of it was dealing with mental health. And I forget, it is just like the forgotten people. If you're not really out here looking for services, doing the legwork, you're going to be forgotten, and society going to move on and then shun you and put you in this one area with all the people that are homeless in this one area. And it's like really, really sad when you walk around, you be like, hey, like this is depression. I will never forget. I have to go check my mail at the courtyard, and it's like so depressing when you see that. And I said, Lord, thank you. I was like, thank you that I know I'm gonna get through this. And it just dropped in my spirit that, Wiley, stay on your meds, because you're gonna live a successful life, and tell your testimony so people can see what's going on, and let people know about the problems of the unhoused, and then seeing mothers with their kids, and then you seeing women that want to sleep with homeless men, and the men don't want to work there, rather be at the homeless shelter all day, every day, don't want to get no job, not even trying to get no job, but still trying to get some poom poom. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen issues like that, and I've seen anger issues where some homeless people argue with the security, and the security will have to get the police involved, and all of these things. So you have to really take care of your mental health. In another situation, and if you're watching this, Little Nas X, I hope you are watching this, and I want you all to send this to Little Nas X. I had a roommate. We were staying in a motel, and it was an organization that had converted a motel into like a homeless shelter. So he was in the room, and he said, you know what? I gave my bike to somebody to do DoorDash, and he was using his DoorDash account to do DoorDash. Well, apparently the dude did not want to give his bike back, my roommate's bike back. So my roommate was like going off. He was cussing. He was wanting to fight. He just really just had like a crash out. Now, when you're a part of these programs, there are rules. You can't be trying to fight people. You can't be trying to beat on somebody's door. And the director came from his house and came to the place, and he kicked the man out. And mind you, it was cold outside of Vegas and everything. And I felt bad, but you got to know how to control your anger issues, and you got to make sure you take the medicine. Because I knew he dealt with mental problems, because he went to the same clinic I went to. He went to the same place to the medication I went to. He went to he was doing the group therapy sessions and stuff. So you got to be very cautious, because especially when your housing is very limited, you don't want to lose the little head up, or the little handout that you're getting. So when I look at Lil Nas X, I said this could also be a win for him, because he can actually go and get into music, and really put it into his artistry about mental health. And maybe that'll be a tool, and be like, okay, wow, that it definitely can win a Grammy. Like, because people are battling, like young black boys and girls, they need to hear that I battle with mental illness, but I'm okay. I went through it. And I when I battle with it, I'm telling you, I share my testimony, and this is my pulpit. I share with you guys every day, that I with breath in my body, because I want people to know that this is going on. It's so many. I've dealt. It was a sister. She said, "Why I love watching your show, because my brother battled with mental illness, and when you were sharing the symptoms, I saw it in my own brother, and we didn't know what to do, because because we lived in some part of, I believe it was Trinidad, and they don't prioritize mental health like they do in America. So they was really trying to get the brother some help. Long story short, the brother self-deleted himself. He, you know what I'm saying, he ended his own life, and it really brought pain to the family. But it's so many people that battle with their mental health, and when they battle with their mental health, it's like it's sad, because some families just don't know, or they'll say, oh, Uncle so and so, he just crazy. No, Uncle so and so need help. And in this country, it should be where free mental health services. Like, and then they also need to have a residential program where some people may just need to be in a facility, where not to be in a padded room, but make sure they have their case manager there to take their medicine, job training programs of people that battle with schizophrenic, bipolar, ADHD, and other things, because a lot of people need a little help. So when I was in Vegas, it was an amazing program that they had there, where I was able to go get my medicine. They took me to the appointment. They picked me up from the appointment, and they would mail the medicine at the place. They would drop off the medicine, and the only thing I had to do was take the medicine and keep up with my appointments. Now I'm in the process trying to make sure I get the same type of services in Illinois so I can make sure that I stay on the medicine like I supposed to. You know what I'm saying? I thank God that I have at least 2 months of medicine, and then I have another month, so counting on 3 months, so everything get into the work, and so I can make sure that we continue the treatment program. Definitely continue the treatment program, and I have sense enough to know, like if I'm not if I ain't go to sleep in like 1 or 2 days, or best believe I'm going to the emergency room, and they're gonna say, hey, I need some help, I need some mental health treatment, blah blah blah, and all that. I'm not even calling the 211 number. I'm going right to the hospital because they'll help you right then and there, because legally they have to help you. They have to send you to a hospital and get you some treatment, because that's why a lot of hospitals by law they ask you, do you want to harm yourself, do you want to harm others? They ask you that question because legally they have to ask you that question. So you have to take it serious into your mental health. And so when I was looking at Lil Nas X, I said, his skin looked good, he looked beautiful. He gave a brother $100. He was trying to play music, play the guitar. So you just see some good stuff for him. And I'm like, he's young, and this was his first interaction with the law. But let me tell you, if you don't sell your medication and say, hey, I don't want to sell my medication, whatever, I'm gonna still do my thing out here and get high and stuff like that, you're gonna always deal with legal problems. And sometimes you may deal with a legal problem where you don't even get out of jail. You don't even get out of jail. You'll be in prison, because there's so many people that dealt with mental problems, did something that definitely giving them decades, and in some cases life in prison. So you have to be very cautious with that. I'm just giving my opinion when it comes to this situation, and let's keep it all the way at stat. That don't make you weak, because people be like, oh, you weak because you no, it don't. It makes you strong, and it makes you smart. Because you see a problem, and then you don't want to be like this and go there and go ask you. For me, I did a self diagnosis. I said, I know I got bipolar. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to try to act like I don't have it, because definitely I have some bipolar. And so when I tell this, I'm good. Be around the family, have great conversations and stuff like that. And even when I was looking about my grandmother, and I said I felt bad because I couldn't really be there for her, because I wasn't there for myself. And once you're not there for yourself, how could you help somebody else? And that's only great. And now, to honor her legacy, I'm gonna make sure that I stay on my good behavior. To make sure that I stay on the meds. To make sure that I continue my education. And continue it. So, Lil Nas X, we see you. And I hope that you stay on the meds. I really hope so. Don't get off there. Don't listen to these people. You don't need no meds. Don't worry about what they talking about. Don't listen to Wiley. You better listen to people that have your same experience. You better. Because when you go through all that stuff, you better listen. Don't listen to these folks that be trying to tell you I don't want to listen to what that man talking about. You ain't gotta take your meds. You better listen, because I'm just telling you what it is. I'm just telling you the truth of what it is. I'm not trying to be all different and all that type of stuff. I'm just being real. Now, this case, and I want to shout out to my producers. We had a meeting about this last night, and Storm Monroe, mind you, I was watching Storm Monroe video yesterday, in and out, just watching it, right? And so I didn't really know. See, I got all these text messages. Now, mind you, I didn't even hear that he said T.S. Madison's name. Well, one of my producers had a talk with me last night, said, Wiley, did you watch Storm video that T.S. Madison sent him multiple text messages and was pretty much demanding that he tell the story right and send him some messages at midnight. So again, Storm did a video maybe day before yesterday discussing the whole thing about the DL Whisperer and all of this type of stuff with the restraining order and all of this. And I guess T.S. Madison didn't like it. And so pretty much she said in a text message, yeah, make sure you don't listen to people. Don't read your chat, because those people in there is transphobic. I'm really trying to tell Storm what to do. And Storm was like, oh, heck no, you ain't going to be telling me what to do. when it comes to this my show. You're not gonna tell me how to run my show. Who are you to tell me how to run my show? I'm grown. This is how I do my business. And Storm was like, well, can we talk for a couple of minutes? And she ignored it. She didn't want to come and call him and do the show. So I want to share this, but then I reminded myself. I said, wow, do you remember, Storm, when Tasha K was demanding that I do not put her name and Armand Wiggin's name in the same title? Do you remember that? Because I remember like it was yesterday. She was like, oh yeah, Wiley, you're the reason why Armand is having a crash out because you put my name and his name in the title. Like really trying to demand me not how to run my show. And I stood 10 toes down saying, you're not going to tell me how to run my show, or who I can talk about, or who I can post, or who I can do that. I run my show like I want to run my show. So, now hearing Storm Monroe of that time, well, T.S. Madison ain't gonna tell me how to run my show. I'm like, well, you were trying to tell me how to run my show. You and Conscious and others were trying to demand me, and I stand 10 toes down about that. Like you ain't gonna tell me how to run my show. Who are you? Talking about let's do a compromise and all this stuff. No, I'm not doing no compromise. I'm running my show like that because again, I can't call. And I said to Touch K, I can't call you to tell you who to talk about. You ain't gonna listen to what I'm saying. The same thing with Storm. I can't tell Storm who he should talk about. Now, mind you, T.S. Madison in this case, what she wanted was him to like drag the DL Whisperer and all of that. And then he had a person that was on his show. Now, let me share this. We as a host, there is power in the microphone. There is power in the tongue. So do not allow someone on your show that is misgendering a trans woman. You as the host control your show and be like, well, you may not like TSMS, but on this show, you're not going to misgender her. No matter how I feel about T.S. Madison, that's a woman. Why? It's because that's how she identified. And if you want to grow in Hollywood, if you want to grow in corporate America, you can't be going around misgendering people. You can't do it. You ain't white. You ain't Trump. So don't do that. So Storm was saying, well, I wasn't misgender, but you allow somebody on your platform to misgender T.S. Madison. That's not cool. You as a host, you shut that down. Be like, hold up. Let's not misgender her because that's a woman. That's how she identified, and we're going to have respect. I will never forget it when I was watching Roland Martin years ago. He had a show on TV One. It was called News One Now. And on the show, he had Dr. Umar and he had some panelists of black folks on there. And so Dr. Umar called one of the people on the show a C word. Ends with an N. A C word. I can't say the name because, I want to make sure it's monetized. And Roland Martin said on this show, you're not going to use those racial terms towards black people. On this show, we're not going to allow it. And Dr. Umar was kind of like in his feelings. Because you as the host, you got to run the show right. So you up there saying all this stuff, you can't have nobody on the show misgender because when you do that, it may send a signal, and it did send a signal to T.S. Madison that you are embracing these homophobic people. Now, let's be clear. When T.S. Madison was reading the credit report, we don't know what credit report she was reading because she didn't say no name. She didn't say this the DL Whisperer. This is the DL Whisperer credit. She didn't do that. She was just reading and saying it was a whole lot of debt. It's a whole lot of debt. So that's just how that go. And then Storm was like saying, you got to spend a lot of money, T.S. Madison, because you got 2 mortgages. I'm like, oh, Storm was swinging. I said, oh. Then Storm was saying, when I was getting doxxed, when I was going through what I was going through, nobody had my back. He act like he's so innocent. But Storm, you brought somebody on your show, and I want y'all to share this live and thumbs up. You brought a boy on the show, a man on your show to talk about me, and you said some nasty stuff about my grandmother on your show. Didn't apologize. You did that very nasty. I ain't talking about your sister. I ain't talking about your great. And he said some other nasty things on his show about me. Because he was mad. Because people say, well, y'all think that he on the DL. It's because he say different types of. And listen, I wasn't the first person to say, even when he had interviewed T.S. Madison, it was Tasha K was there, and he started making comments about men with men. And then T.S. Madison was like, Storm, are you gay? Are you part of the gay community? And he was all that type of stuff. Because when you saw that video that he did about me, he was so concerned about what's between my legs. And I said, I never met a straight man worried about what's between my legs. Like, that's weird behavior. And so did all that type of stuff. Then the Walmart crash, then he interviewed the roommate, all that type of stuff. I'm like, why not bring me on the show? And then he was like, y'all didn't have no sympathy for me when I was gonna. You did a whole slaughter hit pieces on me. And then with the T.S. Madison, he really cut back at T.S. Madison. I'm like, well, go ahead, Storm, but you ain't innocent. Because you did bring somebody on that show to misgender T.S. Madison. So in her eyes, you are evil. You are going against me. So when you do stuff like that, you can't be mad at nobody but yourself. And so again, I think what T.S. Madison have to understand is, don't just send text messages. Be like, hey, let me come on your show. Because she's not above YouTube. She still do YouTube. She still get a check from YouTube. She still do a show with Craig. So don't act like you above the program. You still on the program. It ain't like you left YouTube and you doing bigger and better things. Yeah, you doing bigger and better things on the side. Yeah, you did a Tyler Perry show, but you're still also on YouTube getting a click and a view. And you can't control public opinion, because the more you talk about it, the more they're going to misgender you, which is sad, because I feel like we should respect the person because that's a woman. And we're going to expect that. And I'm not going to allow nobody on my platform to misgender somebody. Like, no, I was on a platform last night and the lady was cussing. She was misgendering a trans woman. I said, no, you can't misgender a trans woman, not in front of me. I'm going to call you out. You may not like it. Who are you to call me out, Wiley? You ain't blankety blank blank. You can cuss me out all day long, but you're still not going to disrespect the trans woman. That's my sister. We want to be respected. And we want to make sure we're using the correct pronouns. If she is represented as her, then we must represent and respect that she's a her. Now I had a joke. And I said I woke up and I identified as a RN, and my pronouns is a RN and an LPN because I woke up and I as a RN. I felt like I was an RN. I believe that I was an RN. I wear RN clothing. And people was laughing because I'm like, I woke up like, this is a jokey joke. But speaking about what trans people go through, that's what their core beliefs, and they really believe it. They really believe that they are a woman. I don't consider Storm queer media. I consider Storm that he's open enough to talk about the other side for that. And then if Storm was really into the LGBTQ community, it would have came out a long time ago. Because you have some people that really love down low man, and they would have definitely exposed Storm Monroe T a long time ago. That if he dealing with people that love to be messy, because it could be that he's not dealing with nobody that's messy like that. But if he say he like women and all that type of stuff, then that's his prerogative. Okay. They said because he discussed queer business, he knows stuff I never knew. That could be. He probably into it. He probably don't want everyone to come out. But that's the thing. If he do come out, he'll get a lot of attention. If he is that type of way. Come on out. He'll get all type of attention. But with Storm, I really don't want to speak for him and be like, oh yeah, he is that way, because again, I don't know what he do in his bedroom. I don't know. But when Armand and Storm was beefing at that time, Armand really came out and he was doing a lot of massive swinging on Storm. I remember that video. And Storm was upset about that. But Storm was used by Tasha K to even come out to our mind to discuss our mind. And our mind was like, okay, I'm going to clap back. And when our mind clapped back, oh, that whole beef was done. Then Storm curled up and said, no, I'm going to be cool with our mind. I'm cool with him. I apologize. I was wrong for bringing his father in this. And I'm like, oh, yeah, because our mind came out swinging. You had to be on YouTube and on them streets. It was ugly in YouTube during that time. And I saw it, and people were laughing. You know, that time I had Storm on my show. We had two men and a lady. I had Storm on the show, and we was literally doing two man and a lady, and Storm was on the show and stuff. So yeah, you definitely got to be cautious with that. I'm just being my humble opinion. Now, let me see. I'm gonna post if anybody want to call in on this. I want y'all to pray for me because we bury our grandmother tomorrow. The funeral is tomorrow, so I definitely want to thank the subscribers. Somebody had said, "Oh, you didn't get a haircut. I got me a haircut because we all seen cash up." So I put that back in the show, and I got to show people. Now, let me speak about this really quickly. So I went to the barber shop, and I said, "Damn, my barber is funky." I'm like, "How in the world you supposed to be cutting hair and you smell bad like that?" And it never smelled bad like that. Then I'm sitting in the chair and I'm trying to I was like, well, I'm already here. I'm gonna just go ahead and get my haircut. And then he all on his phone. I'm like, and then he didn't even do a good job. I'm looking like you could have did way better. Where's the razor at? And I'm like, oh, this type of stuff. So I'm like, you should be smelling like, and mind you, for you to look that good and you smelling like that, go take a shower. And then somebody else called him and be like, um, they said because he could be watching. Oh yeah, okay, I understand that, but I'm like, why you smell like that? I'm like, what the world? Like you smell like that, and you cutting my hair like that? And then again, like it's like no excuse. I was sometimes out in the streets stuff like that, but I made sure I washed my behind because they have showers at the Catholic chair. They have showers at these shelters. Now you may have to get up real early, and they pass out like soaps and stuff like that. It's like it's no excuse. It's no excuse. I'm like, why you like funky like that? I'm sort of like, oh, ooh. And then he was on his phone and stuff like that. And like, I'm like, dude, I'm trying to get my haircut. Like, get off your phone. And then somebody else called him and said, hey, I want to get my haircut. Um, and it's like, no, this is my last set. I just deal with you in the morning. I'm like, it's still early. Like, you should need more customers. Like, because the first time I went there, he wasn't there, so I let somebody else cut my hair. Because I'm not about to chase you down, I'm about to look for you, chase you down, all that type of stuff. Because I'm the customer, I'm the priority. You should be here, and if you ain't here, I'm going to somebody else. I don't deal with all that waiting around, all that type of situation. I'm like, no, I'm the customer. You should be at that shop. If it's business hours on the Thursday, Friday, you need to be in the shop cutting hair. Okay. Okay, somebody said a lot of homeless people. Somebody said my 6-year-old aunt lived with me and wouldn't take a bath regularly, maybe twice. Yeah, like you gotta take showers and stuff. It is what it is. Now let me see if I who want to call in. All those no excuse for both hygienes. Too many. It's options out here again because I've had to deal with those options. It is options out here. The number is 972-674-9462. That is the number if you are calling in. That's the number 972-674-9462. 972-674-9462. All right. No callers. Thank y'all so very much. If you want to contribute to the show, please do so. You can also contribute to the show by hitting our Cash App, Wiley Show 1990. Our Afterpay, you can send it to me directly on Afterpay because I know some people do that now. Or 773-641-8742. That's the Apple Pay. And also, if you want to send me a story and be like, hey, Wiley, we need to go out there, you can also text me at that number as well. And I'll put that in the comments and everything. But we thank y'all so very much. If something else pop off, I definitely will come back on the live and talk to y'all, okay? So yeah, y'all gonna send me some tea, send me some stories. I definitely want y'all to hear that. Love y'all so very much. Little black boy, you beautiful. Little black girl, you are enough. When times get hard, always remember to put God first. Let me know in the comments about this Toya situation, what I talked about. What do y'all feel in that situation? And y'all let me be known. What do y'all feel? Do y'all think that was a good thing or a bad thing? Let me know in the chat. Bye, y'all.